salamat po sa inyong lahat. And of course, we have a guest who is from the US. And you ask questions. And I hope he could answer and he could provide the solutions. Especially so that our main concern is family building.
Sir Rubio, there's a question po, sir. Can you suggest habits of highly productive people?
Yes, in the research of Charles Duhigg, he refers to some keystone habits that also are productive habits. Of the parents that are listening in this conversation today, one of the things that he found out, that one of the keystone habits that families can incorporate very easily, napakasimple lang po ng idea na ito. And we've done this, at least maybe 30, 40 years ago, it was more common. It's now harder. Ang keystone habit po na sinasabi niya that will be helpful to all families is just family dinner. Family dinner. Make sure that you are together as a family for family dinner. Meaning, kids have their gadgets, teenagers have their friends, right? There is homework and parents are just coming home. And so therefore, it's so easy, it's so tempting to just let the family dinner go. Di na natin halos minsan ginagawa yan. And sometimes we feel justified not doing it. But we shouldn't. Family dinner should be a keystone habit. It should happen as much as possible once a day. Kasi yung pong family dinner, wag naman tayo magdadadak lang doon na pagalitan natin yung mga anak natin, ano yung grado mo, ang baba ng ano. The family dinner should be positive. What did you learn in school today? Right? No. This is what happened at work today. Kung ako mga magulang, who do you have a new friend? Who is your new friend? What extracurricular activities did you do today? So something positive. You may talk about current events. The idea of the family dinner is make it harmonious. So yung mga tungkol sa grado, tungkol sa mga girlfriend na dapat hindi pa, mga ganon-ganon, that should be reserved in another time. But the family dinner, kayo pong nakikinig, napakasimple lang ho niyan. Family dinner, just stick to it. And then, do not stop. Ibig sabihin, pag lakihan na kasi ng mga bata, pinapabayaan na lang natin. Insist. If you build it while they're young and then do it all through their teenage years, all the way to their adult life, family dinner po, that's the best way to unite your family at all times.
So very good. That is also what we want to do.
Simple lang po, di ba?
Yeah, it's very simple. And ano pong advice mo, Randy? For example, it involves family problem. Would it be better if you talk one-on-one on that person concerned, not to bring that during dinner?
Opo, kasi meron tayong kasabihan na praise in public, criticize in private. Di ba? Oo, kasi wala po naman sa atin, maski sino sa atin, maski adult na tayo, medyo mature na tayo, medyo kaya na natin yung ganyang batikos minsan, ano? But by human nature, we always resist when we are being criticized, especially openly. Opo.
Ako naman is, I agree with the suggestion of our guest this morning. Unang-una, lahat po ng problema could be addressed in a very diplomatic manner.
Yes, sir.
And we support that as a part of the growth of one family.
Mga kaibigan, mismo ako, natututo po ako, no? Vice Mayor, sa Baguio City po, sir, kanina nabanggit niyo po, meron ba tayong ordinance na in relation sa pagdating po sa pinag-usapan po natin po ngayon?
Yes, as I mentioned, we are the only few cities that have the character ordinance. The character ordinance speaks about good governance. Speaks about build up of a good family, good father of a good family, and of course our relationship with our with other communities. City of Baguio in relation to other cities, other provinces. We have all that in the city of Baguio. In fact, we are allotting 500,000 pesos every year just for the program. And of course, we task, of course, headed by our own mayor. And the mayor issued an executive order which govern and implement that. So again, maybe all over the world, kung gawin natin ito, we will have a peaceful nation. We will not, of course, we are not endorsing, or we are against war.
Absolutely.
And all means should be resolved by peaceful way, and that is good governance. And of course we have the League of Nations, the United Nations, that governs the relationship between nations. And I support, and if we start the basic unit of the government, that is the barangay. But in the barangay, of course, ang pinaka-basic is a building of a good family.
Doon po talaga nagsisimula ang lahat. It's always a good father and a good mother. Ang ganito po kasi, ang natuklasan natin, and because I've been a parent as well, I have 4 kids and then I have 2 grandchildren. Tuklasan ko is that when I began my parenting role, I did not really know much. Because nobody really prepares us, nobody trains us. We get trained to become a speaker, we get trained to become a tourist guide, we get trained to become a doctor or a nurse. But there is no training for parenting. So kaya nga po ito, one of our advocacy is just to introduce the simple family life activities so that parents can be better parents.
How were you able to start with that HOPE program, Randy?
Our hope is to start with some private schools. Before I left the U.S., I already had private schools that were part of our program out in the South, in Metro Manila. And so I am resuming with them. We're experimenting with a very small program at this time. And then if we are able to reach out to you, and we can incorporate that, starting even in the administration, even just in the families within the city government, we would be more than happy to introduce the subject matter to you, sir.
Of course, Randy, you are very much welcome to the city of Baguio, and we need people like you.
And we need people like you even more because you have funds, you have influence, and then you have character. So.
So we're saying good morning to Nick Nyalia, one of the best po ng barangays last year of San Antonio Village Barangay. Shines Me Shine H.O.P.E. Sir Ed Beltran po, sir, nakikinig po ngayon.
Salamat sa mga kumpare ko, Kapitan Nalia of San Antonio Village, and of course my kumpadre Dr. Beltran. Kumusta po kayo dyan? Nakikinig ba kayo? And we want to, one of these days we will be inviting you.
Sir, Dr. Benji Alo, Qatar, he's based in Qatar. He teaches sa one of the Qatar schools po, Dr. Benji Alo, from City Camp, yung kanyang Alo family.
Yeah, mga Alos dyan sa City Camp proper ay mga kaibigan na City Camp Central or City Camp proper.
Ay, po, City Camp proper.
Kaibigan ko po sila, and thank you, Doctor.
Gomgomo Osani, Connie Garcia, Leona Gayaw, Chisbugat, Flor Delisa, Leo Herrera of Mandaluyong. Nakikinig po ngayon.
Pati sa Mandaluyong pala, nakikinig sila. So, thank you. Thank you. Salamat unay, Apo.
Edo Losnong, Wilson Langpawen, Ronnie Carino, Basilio Ana Marie Castelio, Gary Partosa, Juan Coy Nazaro Jr. Nakikinig po ngayon. And most of all, ito po sir yung ating simultaneous na live streaming po sa YouTube. Yan po ang screenshot po sir, sa YouTube naman po siya. At ngayon po napapakinggan din po tayo sa Facebook. Yan po. Napakalinaw po sir, no? Yan ang ating YouTube channel po.
Pakaganda.
Ng ating radio station. And most of all, hindi lang po sa YouTube mga kaibigan. We are being watched and listened to sa Twitch TV. Dito po nag-hangout sir yung mga gamers, mga bata, nasa Twitch po sila. Sa Facebook, sa Instagram po, based on the research po, ang new Facebook daw po ay Instagram na.
Yes.
At ang new television po ngayon ay YouTube na. Sabi mo nila. Habang klase. Vice Mayor.
Yeah. Ako, curious lang ako kasi si Randy Rubio, may mga famous politicians in America. Yung
Marco Rubio po.
Yeah, I think Rubio brothers.
Yes.
Both, I do not know, they are twins, and they are very powerful politicians in the United
Marco
States.
Rubio is Cuban. And yes, and then of course, ang Rubio naman,
in the Philippines, hindi naman talaga kami Rubio. Yung mga ninuno natin, binigyan lang ng mga Espanyol, di ba? Ng Hispanic names during the census.
Yun
But
po,
we are not
yeah.
Hispanics, yes. So.
Sir Rubio, there's a question here po, sir.
Yeah.
They would like to get your comment about a particular quotation by Aristotle saying, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit.
That's right. In fact, isa yan sa mga bagay-bagay na gusto namin ipasaulo sa mga bata. Memorize. Can you flash that once more time? Okay. We are what we repeatedly do. Because something that we just do once or twice is not a habit yet. It has to be done over and over again. And if we're referring to good habits, to bad habits, to good habits, like for example, let's go back to the family dinner. You do it once because you're excited about the idea, correct? You do it tonight because you're excited about the idea. And you do it maybe 2 days, 3 nights later, and then you stop.
Yes, of
And
course.
so it doesn't become a habit.
Yes.
So you make it a habit by doing it consistently, and then you have to be patient through time, right? Let time pass. When once you do that, like it becomes now part of your family culture, and which is a keystone and an excellent habit, then that means it's what you repeatedly do. Not only is it now a good habit, a keystone habit, it now becomes a virtue. So for example, namumulot ka lang ng a liter, right, in Baguio, like you're walking the street. That's a small act, right? But if you do that consistently, it becomes part of you. When it becomes part of you, is cleanliness then, or orderliness becomes your virtue.
So we support that program, your advocacies, and I hope one of these days you will rethink and settle in the city of Baguio. So that,
Hindi po malayo yan. Everyone wants to move to Baguio.
yeah, dito sa Baguio, okay naman. In terms of peace and order, in terms of our natural climate. So
Totoo po yan.
we have-
The most attractive, sir, is fruit and vegetables.
Yes, we will be, of course, if you, maybe I would like to invite you in our postponed panagbinga, no? The opening will be on March 21. The dance parade would be in the 27, and the float parade would be on the 28. If
Is
you
that
have
right?
time, please visit the city of Baguio and just see me at City Hall.
Yes, absolutely. We'll put that in our calendar, sir. And
Yes.
personal invitation for you is almost irresistible. No less than the vice mayor.
Yes.
And if we meet the vice mayor, then that means we'll meet the mayor as well.
Yes. We are, in the city of Baguio, it's being read in the newspaper. We have a common program. We have from 2020 to 2022. We have a 15-point agenda of the city government of Baguio in which all of us are supporting, from the office of the congressman, the mayor, the vice mayor, and all councilors,
Ang ganda.
including the department heads.
So, hindi po kayo pa iba-ibang programa.
Yes.
Kaisa po kayo, nagkakaisa po kayo.
Kaisa po kami
Wow,
dyan. And,
wow, it's amazing.
We are discussing it every Monday after our flag ceremony. How to implement, how to proceed with the program, what are the hindrances, at ano pong gawin. Yun.
My goodness, that's hard to do in politics, but you've done it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only now that it happened. So,
Aligned, they're completely
yes,
aligned.
yes.
My goodness,
Hopefully-
that's amazing.
Hopefully,
Amazing.
it will be the public who will judge us at the end of our term.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
if we have done something, then let the people again decide on our fate as politicians.
That's correct.
So that's it.
Sir, there's a question for Sir Rubio here. Can you do some recommendation again about habits that are killing our being productive?
Yes. If you really want to be productive, you must start your day right, because the morning starts a way in which what unfolds during the day. Now, if you are a student, one of the things that I can recommend to you that will make you productive, and there is not necessarily scientific evidence behind it, but it has amazing result on you, is simply making your bed. Simply making your bed. That's it. So pagkagising mo, bata, no? Ayusin mo lang yung unan mo, yung ano ba yan, your blanket, that, and the rest of it, just make it look nice. Because once you make your bed, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. You're likely to feel good about going to school. You're likely to become excited, and you're likely to participate because you start with something positive. Now, adults in the audience, meron po tayong tinatawag na morning ritual. Morning ritual. In the morning, aside from hopefully making your bed because you're already an adult, that's already should have been a habit, okay? Aside from that is that you start with a gratitude prayer. Then you might also want to meditate. And then you might want to exercise. What some people do is they rise up as early as 5 o'clock in the morning. Because at 5 o'clock in the morning, there are no distractions whatsoever. You're by yourself. So you can commune and worship, right? Through meditation and gratitude prayer. Nagpapasalamat po tayo. We begin the day with thankfulness. And then we incorporate that with exercise. Ang tawag po niyan is stacking the habits. So pag sunod-sunod mo yan, gratitude prayer, meditation, drink a glass of water, and then exercise, that starts you off right. That means too that if you do that every morning, that means you also have to sleep early at night. See the effect? So you sleep early at night, you wake up early in the morning, what happens to you? Basically, that's your platform of a productive rest of the day.
Vice Mayor,
Ang dami tayo din natutunan. Of course, there are exemptions.
Of course.
And we are the exemption. But of course, for me, that's very ideal, in which if every family does, I think will be a very successful one. Successful one in a way that, of course, yung family naman natin, hindi naman kumo wala kang pera ay hindi ka na successful.
Tama po yun.
Addendum na yon, plus factor na kung may pera ka, kung may you're beautiful, you're handsome. But karaniwan naman sa pamilya ay at least you provide the basic needs of a family. You are complete in a sense, then that's the best family.
Tama po kayo, Vice Mayor. Ang masasabi ko lang po, kung masaya at maligaya ang inyong pagsasama sa bahay, sa tahanan, that is priceless. Marami po mayayaman na tao na wala po silang kapayapaan. Hindi sila minamahal ng kanilang mga anak. Di ba? O hindi sila nagmamahalan. Nagkakahiwa-hiwalay sila. So the fact alone that you may not have a lot of money, you're not even rich, but there is peace and harmony, there is love at home, that is priceless. That is priceless. That's the real treasure in life.
Maybe one of these days na magkita tayo uli, maybe you could present guidelines in writing. Para ipamigay natin.
Sige po. Sige po. And we can even do that in coordination with your campaign.
Yes.
Ay, maganda.
Para pamigay natin. Kasi
Opo.
maganda yun.
Maski one page lang ho.
Yes.
Ganyan
Yes,
lang ho.
sir.
Maiksi lang. Kasi ito pala po sasabihin ko sa inyo po. Ang programa ho namin is very simple. You are not reading a lot. You are not doing a lot. These are just small actions that you do on a weekend. We introduce it to the kids because we know we're already inundated with work. Ang dami na nating ginajuggle eh. So we don't want to add to that. We would like to just put something there that's so simple. So ito po sinasabi nyo, one page lang ho yan.
Yes.
Pwede rin brochure lang. Iaabot lang natin. Di ba?
And, Vice Mayor, when I was doing my research po, sir, I came to find out po, sir, Sir Rubio, when he was here in the Philippines, like a decade ago, he gave trainings and coaching programs for, top-notch companies like United Laboratories, Grappa-Life, San Miguel Corporation, Nestle Philippines, CJK, Forma Print, and many, many more.
And of course, kaya nga ina-appreciate natin at gusto natin aniyaan si Randy dito sa syudad. At minsan, kasama mo ako, we have programs every Friday afternoon
Ganun po ba?
at City Hall. We are also having exercise. So
Exercise, by the way, is a keystone habit. Remember, keystone habit has positive domino effect in the rest of our lives.
So one of these days,
Opo.
I hope that you provide us, kasamang William, yung address niyo po, your number, so that
or email, contact
yes,
information. Opo.
yes, para sa ganon we could communicate and we could reach you easily.
Absolutely.
So where do you stay in
We are right now in Tarlac.
Oh.
So we're very close to you. In fact, my work, if I were up to me, I would just be doing it in Central Luzon going to the north because I want to skip Metro Manila traffic.
Yeah, maganda doon sa...
Diba?
Maganda sa...
Yung bagong Tarlac City yata na ginagawa.
Opo.
Sa Clark City, mayroon din.
Opo, opo.
So, these are...
You are the crown of the north kasi Baguio kayo, you're elevated, right?
Maganda.
Lahat naman, in fairness, the road to Baguio is more easier now.
It is. At saka nakikita ko yung mga
kaya
ginagawa
nga,
niyo.
kami pag minsan, we have some problems in terms of traffic, in terms of garbage, because people easily comes now to the city of Baguio.
They're attracted to it.
Yeah.
Para po kayo magnet eh.
Most of the time, we are prepared, of course. So, thank you again, Randy.
Ako po ang dapat magpapasalamat sa inyo.
Ayan.
Oo.
Sir, nagpapabati ko pala Ronald Madera, Balodoy Tutanes, Zaidi Azala, Vanji Stabilio, Australia nakikinig, si Sir Patricio Morales, we are listening right now in Australia. Very good topic daw po. And Australia po sir nakikinig mo yan. Shoden, Yanyan Balanon, Danny Andres Coloscos, Peter Camps, Redmi Sikailolis, BNJ Mandiet, Digil, Clark Trapico, nakikinig po ngayon.
Wow.
Clark Trapico.
So, thank you again sa lahat ng nakikinig sa programa ni Vice Mayor at saka si kasamang William. Of course, salamat unay na imbag nga agsapayo.
And sir, as we end our radio segment po sir, can we hear a summary of habits of personal excellence building the core habits of effective living po?
Yes, there are core habits to effective living and starts as a person, personal mastery. Then it expands to our families and then it expands to our communities, just like what you're doing. So these habits of excellence need to be started when our children are young. And then parents, teachers, community leaders, everyone that has a task of building family life need to merge forces. Just like what you're doing, sir, that the politicians, for once, here in your area, have completely aligned themselves to a certain singular purpose. So this is what we need to do. We have to merge forces to make sure that our children are protected, that the good habits, keystone habits, are started when they are young.
Vice Mayor.
Of course, on the part of the city government of Baguio, I will revisit our character city. If there's a way that I could incorporate as part of the amendment of our ordinance, the HOPE program of our guest this morning.
Please, sir.
Thank you, Randy.
The pleasure is all mine.